Hi, I'm Lindy Burch. I'm sitting here at the Justin Insurance booth with my great pal Matt Gaines, and we're going to talk a little bit about horses and very little about insurance and strategies. Matt is one of the very, very best top cutting horse trainers if you're new to cutting. If you know anything about cutting, you'll know his name. He's won over $10 million. Only, I think there's 3 guys that are up there around him, and all fantastic, fantastic trainers and horsemen and showmen. Matt's won the futurity. He's been reserve, I think, at least once, probably twice.
Reserve once and third 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
I think.
I know you've made the finals. We don't usually have the futurity finals without Matt Gaines in it. I'll put it that way. He has won the Open World Championship on a great horse of his that he trained. And that, to me, those are the 2 most coveted events. The Open World Futurity, or the Open Futurity, and the World Championship.
I've actually won the World Championship twice.
Right.
Yeah.
On
Special New Baby in 2015, and then Sugar Spice and Everything Nice in 21, I believe.
Right. So Special New Baby was, to me, like watching you show her that first year, or that year you were hauling her. She was such an amazing aged event mare. And sometimes the transition doesn't happen where they can go ahead and be what we call a hauling horse.
Right.
And a hauling horse means that to win the world championship, you show in every state that they have a cutting, and on any kind of ground and any kind of arena, and a lot of it is very challenging from day to day. So it takes a special horse to be able to do that. And that mare of yours rose to the occasion, didn't you think?
Well, yeah, and I think, she was a good aged event mare, but she was really hot, and which is part of what made her special.
Yep.
But it also made her somewhat inconsistent as an aged event horse. And then when I guess she was 9 the year I won the world on her, and by that time she'd kind of matured a little mentally, and especially once we started showing her. When we first started showing her, we were just trying to get her over 400,000. I think was the goal. We weren't even thinking of
get her in the horse Hall of Fame.
Get her in the Hall of Fame. There was no thought of trying to win the world, but I started showing her, and I think end of April rolled around, and I was leading the world by like $15,000 or something. So that at that time we decided, well, let's go ahead and see if we can win the world on her.
Yeah.
And and she just kept getting better.
Yeah.
All the way through. She just, she was just. It's kind of funny how it ended up. She ended up just really being built for that. She really got to where she thrived on it, and just kept getting better all year long.
And really consistent and really dependable.
Yes, very.
And what goes along with that a lot of people don't realize is your team.
Oh,
and your wife, Tara, who's one of my very best friends, used to work for me. She is, I don't know that there's very many people I would allow to take care of my horse, my favorite horse, but Tara's the one.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody better.
Right.
When it comes to taking care of one, getting one prepared, keeping them healthy, just all the things. Managing those horses, there's nobody better.
Right.
In every aspect of it. There's nobody better.
Yeah, listen, the age event horses need to be managed and taken care of and treated like the tremendous athletes they are. As far as physical conditioning, nutrition, and the training. And Matt can certainly handle all the training, but it's if you've got a partner like Tara that can pick up the rest of that and do it as well as she does, that's an added bonus.
When we first got together, it'd be a horse she was getting ready, and she'd tell me every once in a while, she'd think, this horse doesn't feel the same to me today. Something's not right. And I'm like, I can't tell any difference.
Right.
And I'd kind of blow it off.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, that would show up.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you know, and it took me about a year, and then
So
I
listen.
got to realizing, like, by golly, when something's a little different,
Something's a little off.
she's going to notice it, and you better listen.
Yeah.
Because, and you know, but I'd never had anybody like that.
No.
That has that much feel.
Right. Well, then,
That can tell.
yeah.
Just a little difference in how that horse feels.
It really allows
And-
you to be proactive
Oh,
in
man.
the care.
Yes.
Because you've got somebody that can see that way before it manifests when
Yes.
everybody else sees it.
and which is key.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
when you can get ahead of that, you know, you don't end up with big problems.
No.
You always have manageable situations.
Exactly.
And you know, so I mean, it's to have somebody like that. It's, man, I tell you what, it's a true blessing, that's for sure.
Sure. And then, like, when you were hauling, what's the other things that you enjoyed about hauling? Because I knew, you know, before we've talked about this, so I know the answers. But before that, you know, you were mostly concerned with and concentrating on age event. And then when you got to go on, you know, run down the road and haul for the world, what things kind of came up that maybe were added blessings you didn't know you were going to
Well, so you know, for me, when the year I won the world on Baby, I was still doing all the aged event stuff too, and you know, so it wasn't that much different. But then, starting in 2020 through 2022, all we pretty much did was haul for the world for those 2.5 years, basically. And you know, for me, it was a good change of pace. Like it was getting to be around different people and going to different shows and the whole, you know, if you do bad today, you're going to show again tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't have to wait long.
And you know, and it's still cutting, but it's different. You're
Right.
around different people. It's a different atmosphere, and you know, and it's, you know, where an aged event, you're always trying to advance. When you're hauling, it's, you know, it's like having a finals run every time you go down there, and you know, and it's a lot more driving, and you know, when you get somewhere, you might stay there maybe 4 days, 5 at the most, and then you're on to the
Moving
next
on.
one. But a lot of times you're there for 1 or 2 days,
Yeah.
and you know, so I mean, that was a lot of things I enjoyed about it, because it was to me, it was a refreshing change.
Right. And you
And-
know, I think that to piggyback on that, when I won the world, I won in 2000, and what I enjoyed the most, like you, was a change of pace, but I really loved meeting different people.
Yes.
And the camaraderie that you build, not only with your open riders that help you in the arena, but all the people that we get together and cook one night,
Right.
or we get together and all go to the movie, and people that I didn't really know in the Asian event arena, but I've made some great friends and really
yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
it. That where I just didn't know that there was a whole other set of people that loved cutting horses as much as I did.
No,
and
for sure.
we're as passionate as we are, and so that was, and I think anybody that gets to do that hasn't, and now that there's so much more money in it, and we just finished the World Finals here, you see a lot of people that haven't grown up being haulers.
Right,
You know, they've grown up being trainers and young horse trainers, and now they're all getting a chance, like Cody Porterfield and Cass Tatum and Leave, and you know, I think this is his second year of hauling, and he ended up reserve. Cass won it on Mary Jo Milner's open horse,
Right,
and it was just, you know, it's just great to see that now everybody is. I think we're kind of blending both the
Oh, for sure.
open,
Yeah.
the World Championship run, and the age event.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I'll tell you something else that I enjoyed a lot when I hauled, because Tara and I, we drove everywhere together. And, you know, we spent hours upon hours in the truck driving and, you know, and getting to see different parts of the country. And, you know, we'd be driving somewhere, see something, and we'd be like, what's that? And she'd Google it, and we'd let you know. And
So it's
you know,
educational, too.
yeah. I mean, we had which we always have a good time together. And you know, it was fun. Like, her and I had lots of good conversations driving
Yep.
down the road, and that was good. But I'll tell you something that I think, to me, people that just do the aged event stuff and have never hauled, I don't think they understand. Like, I think a lot of people think it's easier than what it is.
Right. Until they do it.
Until they do it.
Until they try to do it.
Until they try to do
Right,
it. And I'm going to tell you now, it's not easy.
No. Austin Shepherd
It is
said the
not
same
easy.
exact thing years ago when he hauled Bet He's a Cat. He just thought it was just kind of like going down there and showing at Will Rogers, and he said, "Ooh, was I mistaken?"
Yeah,
he said. And he had a great time, and he said the same things that we've been saying, but it's different.
It's different.
And it's
100%.
hard. There's
It
nothing
is hard.
easy about it. So tell me, I want to jump subjects for a minute, because we're here at the futurity, and I want to talk to you about your mindset going in, and you can give me the short version, but your mindset and your strategy that you employ, because you have been so successful doing this. I just kind of want to get it from your perspective, how you approach futurity.
So I'm going to start off with, I think that to me, the thing that changed my whole career is when I decided to really work on the mental part of it. And because of that, I'm really big on trying to stay mentally sharp, not letting bad thoughts in my head or bad words come out of my mouth, and I really try to work hard on that, keeping everything positive, and that helps me just stay more confident all the time. But as far as strategy and all showing, I learned over time just to treat it like a job, because it is my job. And if you're worrying about or thinking about the outcome, you're wasting energy.
Right.
Because if you don't go do your job, you're not going to have a good outcome.
Right. You don't want
to. So I try to, when my cows come in, then it's like you flip a switch. At that point, I'm going to be dead set focused on watching the cows, and then when it's time to go get on my horse, and I'll run through my run at least a couple times before I go get on my horse. Just make good clean cuts, make sure that I'm driven out far enough.
Driving up. Yeah.
Make sure when I get cut that I get my hand down when I need to, and that I ride my horse, stay even with the cow. Make sure I'm staying even, that cow's pulling me through a turn, and then quits. I'll be like, look, don't quit that cow until that cow's stopped, or definitely going, or you can see that cow's butt's what I'll tell myself.
Yeah.
And I'll go through every cow like that just to get my mind and everything thinking about that 2.5 minutes. And I just really, that's what I try to do, is just stay. I try to stay focused on, because with cutting, there's some variables we don't have control of.
Exactly.
We don't have control of, we don't have control of the ground. We don't have control of the judges. We don't have control of the draw. Like, all that kind of stuff, I try not to worry about it, think about it, because I have no control of it.
Right.
But I feel like the things I do have control of, like picking good cows, making good cuts, making sure I don't have a miss, making sure my quits are good, I don't have any reining points. I feel like if I do my job and take care of all the things that are in my control, I've given myself the best chance to be successful.
Right.
So that's what I focus on.
Yep. And that's a winner's summation, if I've ever heard one, about any kind of athletic endeavor. But tell me, because we've got a partner in this, we've got an athletic horse that we've trained and spent all that time on for many times 2 years, and those of us that breed them, we've got 3 or 4 or 5 years into that horse that we're planning on showing at futurity. So as far as, the way we have so many horses, I think we had 607 this year or something in the open futurity. So the first go is 6 days this year.
Right.
Second goes 3 days, so that's kind of all happens at the beginning of the futurity. And then we've got this huge break, 10 days,
Right.
12 days, depending on how many other classes we have or entries in those classes. Kind of tell me how you approach that.
Well, I think that, and to me, I think that's one of the things that makes the futurity so tough to win. And, you know, I mean, because there's a lot there you have to manage, you know. So how much time do I give my horse off after that second go round?
Right.
When do I go back to working it? And, you know, and all those things, keeping it healthy this time of year,
Right.
you know, is a challenge. And, you know, so I think it's, and I kind of always give my horses, like I'll try to give them, I won't ever give them more than just 1 day off where they don't get out of their stall. I might, you know, like if I show them the second go round, I might give them that next day off, just let them, but then I'm going to go right back to exercising them every day.
Keep them in condition.
I might give them, you know, I might give them 2 or 3 days off without working them. We're just exercising them every day. And then I'll, you know, maybe go back to working them on, I've got one of those real cow machines. I might work it maybe every other day on that machine or the flag or something like that. And then as it gets closer, I'll start working them on cows and go from every other day to every day. And really, I mean, that's kind of my general approach to it. But then it depends on the horse, you
Right.
know, the horse you have, and, you know, how much work that, you know, that horse, some of them, you know, especially if they're a hotter horse, they need to stay a little more, you know, you need to work them a little more regular every day and a little more work on those horses. And then I've had other horses where, you know, I might work them every other day till 3 or 4 days before they show, and then work them 3 or 4 days in a row and go show them. So it just kind of depends on the horse, but that's kind of my general approach to it. You know, that downtime.
Yeah, and I think that's wise because we've had put a lot of pressure on them with all the pre-works
Right.
and all the practices, and then, you know, the getting through the first go, getting through the second go, and making the semis. Now you can kind of take a breath, but you don't want to lose that edge, but you don't want to go over that edge either.
Right.
And I think that's always interesting. The semis is such a great go to watch, because there's going to be some horses that you've seen in the goes that step up.
Right.
And you go,
Yep.
holy moly, man,
Yep.
that horse looks 10 times better. And then there's others that are going to go the other way.
Right.
And again, it has to go back to what you did in those.
Well, I think
10
it
to
goes
12 days
it goes
sometimes.
to that, and you know, and that horse's ability to handle pressure.
Yeah.
And you know, which you know, that's our job too, is
Sure.
to, you know, is
How you handle it.
not overload them with
Right.
too much pressure, and yeah, and how we handle it too. Make sure we're not, you know,
Exactly.
getting
'Cause
too
we've
anxious
got-
about it all, and
10 or 12
where
days
our
to-
heartbeat's getting revved up too. So
Because they know it.
and so, you know, I just always kind of look at, like, leading up to the futurity and all the way through the futurity, just trying to continuously build, you know, where you're trying to build. And when I say build, I'm talking about building confidence. And,
Right.
you know, try to build confidence all the way through the show. My dad told me a long time ago, and I think he's right. He always said the most important thing about the futurity is that you leave there with a good horse and a better horse than you started.
That's really good advice.
Because, you know, like we all, you know, everybody wants to win
Sure.
the futurity and have a good show, but you know, sometimes you have bad luck, but if you can go get that horse through 2 or 3 good runs and build confidence, then that's just going to set you up better, you know, when that next show rolls around.
Right.
And, you know, so I think I always try to keep that in mind, that, you know, I'm always building confidence going forward. I don't always achieve that, but that's always
the
my goal. Yes.
And you know, what I always tell people, and I've had, you know, really good, great success here, and I've had not so great success here, but I always say to myself and to say to other people that get in that same boat, that this is their first show, not their
Not
last
their
show.
last, 100%.
And I think that's what Dick is,
Yes. Yeah.
keying on that let's have a great horse for a long time and
Yes.
not just, burn
And
them out
you know,
in a
and
short
I
time.
think that's something that, you got to keep reminding yourself, because we are competitive. We do want to win, and you want to win now, but
Right.
But you don't want to lose sight of, this is just their first show.
The big picture.
It's just their first show. There's lots of money to be won after this. So,
Exactly.
you know what, if you have some rough luck or things don't go your way, then, keep that attitude, keep building that horse's confidence going forward, and do better at the next one.
Right, and there's a lot of great horses that both you and I can mention that you don't. We assume, or a lot of people assume, they did well at futurity, and they probably went out in the first go.
Yeah.
But they became awesome horses.
Great
that
horses.
everybody just kind of goes, oh well, I thought you won futurity. on this
Smooth
mare."
as a cat. I didn't get him out of the first go round of the futurity. It wasn't his fault, and it wasn't really my fault. I was first in a set of cows, and I'm out there far enough working my first cow, and like 3 or 4 other cows run out, and it just, it's a wreck, and we don't. And that horse, so I didn't get past the first go round of futurity. I go to Abilene, I win the first go round, I get run over the second go round. I go to Augusta, I think I won the first go round, I got run over the second go round. So I've been to 3 shows and hadn't even made a finals. Finally, I go to Memphis, I win Memphis on him, and that horse didn't make finals his first 3 aged events, and he still won over $500,000 in his aged event career.
Yeah.
So, that just goes to show you.
You got to keep that in perspective.
Right.
And talking to a lot of trainers that we all want to win the futurity. We all build that futurity up to be the show, and it is. I'm not taking anything away from it, but sometimes things just don't work out at that event for that time.
No, 100%.
Does not mean it's not a great horse. And speaking of a great horse, it's a good segue. Tell us about Sugar Daddy.
Well, Sugar Daddy's just one of those horses that I think God put in my life that was meant to be, because there's a whole long story that goes back to you and Tara with his grandmother, and how we even ended up coming about raising Sugar Daddy, but that horse. He obviously all year as a 3-year-old, I knew he was super, super talented. To me, coming into the futurity, I felt like he was a very talented horse, but I didn't feel like he was really ready. I thought he was just a little immature minded maybe, and I felt like going into it, but the very first cow I cut him the first go round, makes about 2 moves, and then runs into his shoulder trying to run us over, and he grits up, handles it, goes and makes a huge stop, comes out of it, cow turns away, and we get off and mark a 16, and then and that horse, just kind of like I said, he just kept building, he's a little better at second go around, better in the semifinals,
Lots.
and come finals, I mean, he was.
He knew what he needed to do.
He was ready to go,
Yeah.
but that's the thing to me that's so cool about the futurity is, and to me what makes Sugar Daddy such a special horse is it's the stuff you don't train. It's his heart to go do his job. And how important it is to him to go do his job and hold a cow.
Yeah.
You don't train that.
No.
That's just there, and that's kind of what I tell everybody. Ask me about him. He was still a little green going into futurity, but he took his job so serious, and it's so important to him to go hold a cow. It didn't matter.
Right.
And
he kind of just developed himself during that time.
And that to me, so as a breeding horse, I look at that like he's obviously very physically talented, but if he'll just pass that on in his babies, his heart and his try and his grit, he's got to have good babies.
Yeah, no, that's that intrinsic, that thing that you can't develop it if it's not there.
Right.
if it's there, he's going to develop it. If you give him a chance and stay out of his way.
Right.
As my mentors used to say.
Which to me, his grandmother and his mother, they were that way too.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I think that comes. I mean, and I love the Kit Kat sugars myself too. But I think that bottom side
He's got
on
a
him,
strong side.
you know, is, you know, those horses. His grandmother and his mother were very much the same way, and so I think he gets some of that from, you know, from his bottom side
Sure.
as well.
No, I would agree. Well, Matt, and so his oldest
His first babies will be born this spring.
in
This
2026.
was his first year. Yes.
That's got to be so exciting
Oh,
for you
yeah.
and Tara.
Very exciting.
That's going to be
Yeah, very
that's
exciting.
going to be so much fun to watch
Very.
them, you know, grow and develop, and your first saddle on them, and I know he's a very popular stallion. I've got one coming out of one of my best mares, and I'm sure excited to try him, to see
Well-
him and try him because of that mental part as much as anything, just as you mentioned.
And I think that's what's been so cool to me about it is it's not I feel like the trainers really like that horse.
Yes.
And you know, and they're the ones that, you know, they've watched him, they see the things I'm talking about, and you know, and that's really cool to me. It's not just like there's fans up here that don't know a whole lot about
Right.
cutting that, you know, see him and
Yeah.
he's so cool. It's
Yeah.
you know, the people that really know
Right.
and really study it and all that. You know, there's a majority of them that really like him
Yeah.
and think he's a good
Yeah,
horse,
and-
that's what's really cool to me.
Right, and you've bred, I mean, and they've sent great mares. So,
Yes, we did
and
breed
I
some good
think
mares
it's
too.
very, very important that those colts get tried in a lot of different programs.
For
and,
sure.
And they will be because of the trainers and the owners that have sent you those good mares. So,
For sure.
you know, it's going to be a great chapter, a new chapter for you. And a great chapter.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting to ride some of his babies, and yeah, I think it'll be fun because I feel for certain he's going to have good babies.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, and then so does the industry. I'm
Yes,
pretty sure.
yeah.
So you've got one mare in the semis.
Yes, ma'am.
That's gotten better and better, and I've been with you to a bunch of pre-works, and I want to wish you good luck,
Well, thank you.
and you know, I know you'll do your job because I know that's what you say to yourself before you go in there.
We're going to do all we
your
can
job,
do. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And but I wish you the best of luck, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here because so much great information for people that are your peers and or the people that sit in the audience about what we do with our horses. So I appreciate that. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I've enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks, Matt.